Live, we're on?
We are on.
Let's go.
We've been talking about the phrase let's go quite a bit.
Yeah, you gotta do it right. Yeah.
Like how?
Let's go. I don't know if that's right.
It's definitely something some people can say more like appropriately, effectively. It's like more suited to some people.
I think you gotta use the F word when you do it. Usually it's let's effing go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not huge swearers.
No, it's a polite podcast.
That made us sound a bit lame.
That could be the name of the show, Polite Podcast.
Oh, that'll be like cool.
Let's effing go, it's the Polite Podcast. Let's do this.
Yeah. Can I try it?
Yeah.
Let's effing go. I was like engaging what I've heard of Joe Rogan.
Yeah, usually it's like tough men doing it.
Yeah, or like UFC fighters.
Yeah. Alexander Volkanovski is obviously maybe the originator of it. I don't know if he started it.
He's Australian. That's the similarity between the two of us.
Heavyweight world champion. So yeah, he can say it and he can mean it when he's saying it. I believe him.
We'll do whatever he says, right?
Oh yeah.
Don't attack us.
Yeah, I'll do whatever he says. If you want to stand in one spot, I'll go stand over there in one spot.
Would you really?
Yeah, I'd do it. Yeah, it's up to him what we all do. He's in charge.
It sounds a bit stupid.
At one point, he was the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Mm-hmm. An Australian guy from New South Wales. Windang, which is south.
Windang.
No one ever shouts out to Windang. It's south
Not
of
even
Sydney.
Volkanovski.
Yeah, well, he can. He's the only one who's ever. They put Windang on the map.
Do you think property prices went up in Windang?
Yeah, people would have moved. Some people would want to be going to the gym that he goes to. He obviously flies to New Zealand.
International sales might have risen because of it. It'll be interesting to check it out.
Obviously, he's been a great champion. You know, Robert Whittaker was the first Australian champion, but then Alexander Volkanovski was the second. You know, so...
Can they just have a simple last name like Smith? Like Smith, you know.
Well, our third champion is Jack Della Maddalena.
I don't really
he's
like
our third Australian champion. You gotta
Jack Della Maddalena.
Let's go. We've got actually
Let's effing go.
We've got 2 Australian champions at the moment. This is a UFC podcast, which is the name. It's the Polite UFC podcast.
People ask me, my friends, my dear friends, they said to me today, what do you talk about on your podcast?
What do you talk?
And I didn't know how to describe it. I said we just organically discuss what comes to mind, and here we are.
Yeah, it's just fun. Bit of fun.
I like the word organic.
Yeah.
Makes it sound a little interesting.
Just go with the flow. I think every time we do it, we get it better.
Go with the flow.
Yeah, get a little like relaxed and just, in that flow state. It's going to be fun. We never come in with anything planned. It's just whatever.
We are your friend through your earpiece or speaker.
Okay, so
That's how I feel.
Well, let's break down what Lando said.
Who's Lando? No one knows who Lando is. Sorry, Lando.
Our pro bono producer, Lando.
He is our producer. Yeah. We'll get that to dear Lando.
So Lando explained that my voice is much lower than Sophie's because Sophie talks higher and the microphone...
Higher or louder?
Louder, higher... Clearer, everything. Every single attribute that's great about Sophie's voice that I can't reach is based off the microphone on the phone. The microphone calibrates to her voice and that sets the level at which it should be spoken at.
Is this true?
This is what he said. Sounds good for me.
Sometimes you have to fact check, right? Check.
Will you take it up with the producer, Lando?
I trust in the producer.
I trust that
I like saying that we have a producer that's quite professional. Yeah. Thanks, Lando.
Yeah, he's YouTube certified. He's his degree in audio technician.
We have to give respect to Lando for previously working in the movie industry.
Yeah.
You can always,
He's always been very clever working with phone, technology cameras. When we were younger, he was always doing stuff with cameras, filming little things.
But what movies did Lando work on?
Wolverine, maybe the second one.
Our producer sounds pretty cool. Go Lando.
Yeah.
Wolverine.
He worked on the Angelina Jolie movie. It had a strange name. I haven't seen it, but it's...
Not Tomb Raider.
No. It was filmed in Sydney, but it was a long time ago. So Anyway, yeah, shout out to Landerby. I hope he's right about my voice, and I don't have to
maybe just don't speak clearly.
Elocution lessons or something. I don't think I speak clearly enough. I have to be honest.
All right.
Yeah, that is what it is. But I'll take Lando. We'll go Lando's. What he says about it.
We'll do whatever he says.
Yeah. So he wants us to get lots of microphones. He wants a total upheaval of the studio.
Watch this space.
Yeah. It's all happening.
Watch the cupboard. How did my dad describe it? As a broom cupboard.
That's what he said.
He said it could be a broom cupboard. Thanks, Dad.
I can't believe we all got in here.
It could be, to be honest.
Yeah, and I'll be honest again, I was completely squished up against the side here, and I was just sort of existing just to get through it and just to make sure I didn't say anything to put everyone off. But yeah, I don't think I could do that long sitting bent up against or kind of squished at the front.
Michael needs to work on his yoga.
Oh, it's just too much of one position.
That sounds to me like triangle pose.
It was either forced forward too long or twisted to the side like this, but kind of trying to look over here.
That's definitely Trikonasana.
Well, you sit here and we'll switch next time.
Let's see if anyone can do Trikonasana for an hour. Probably not.
I thought it was better if I just copped that and I sat there and went through it and just went, okay, we'll get to the end. And it was great because John was a fantastic guest. He was so good. Yeah, some of his stories were amazing.
I know.
Yeah.
It's funny how I was saying to my friend this morning, when you sit down in this space, it's such a different setup for a conversation, and the topics, the insights that you find, it's very different to if we were just hanging out with Dad and, oh my God, look at, we just talk about what's in front of us and not, I suppose, you could kind of compare it to what's behind the present moment. It's the history that's brought us to the present moment, but most of the time you don't discuss how was it when you were a child, or people don't often explore that side of things, and it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, and he can explain his own life when he was young, but he's also been a teacher, so he's talking about seeing students come through, and he's also a father and a grandfather.
The journey, it's amazing.
Yeah, there's a lot of knowledge to be gained, especially from a teacher. It's obviously.
Check it out. Yeah. Episode 6.
Yeah, episode 6. We had another guest. We did it, everybody. Might have been haters and doubters out there, so we wouldn't do it.
We did it.
We did it, yeah. We all squished into the broom cupboard.
It was my dad.
That counts.
It counts.
It counts. It really counts.
It kind of doesn't count.
Your wife and your father-in-law on the podcast.
And my mum was sorry, she was meant to be going to a hairdresser appointment to get her hair blow dried. She stayed out in the lounge room the whole time this was being recorded with my dad, and she just fell asleep. She just didn't go to the appointment.
I hope we didn't put her to sleep.
It's so funny.
She can't actually hear us, by the way.
I went out after the recording and I wasn't expecting anyone to be there. But then my mom, she was just leaned back.
She was jealous. She didn't get to do it.
That was what I was going to
I felt jealousy. I felt
she was jealous.
Left out.
I said, Mom, when are you going to go on the podcast? And she said, well, when someone invites me to go on, I'm like, oh God. But yeah, so watch this space again.
And she was mad, slapping me out before the podcast too. She was going, take control of it early on, Michael. You need to be in charge of the thing.
She wasn't that aggressive.
No, I'm just kidding, funny Margaret.
The deputy principal inside of her.
Yeah, she can come on. Everyone can come on. Everyone's welcome.
Everyone can come on. But not at the same time. We won't fit.
We could get rows of chairs, like a grandstand going upwards, and then sit in the back row or and look backwards, like a press conference.
We could do
hey,
Mexican wave.
Let's go, everyone.
Let's effing go.
Yeah.
We can all say it together.
Yeah, guys say it in the gym actually. They're quite when the music's loud and they're just
girls
screaming.
Don't say it. I don't think
Some
girls should say it.
Yeah.
Well, I've started to say it.
The strong ones, but the tanks, they say, Yeah.
I've just got skinny arms and I can't help it. I'm not strong. Not in my arms.
Yeah, I think you're too sweet.
Like you can see, I look like a bird.
No, you're sweet. You can do it.
I'm sweet. I can do. Let surfing go.
Yeah, it's fun. I think it's fun when you do it.
Thanks.
Yeah, you got your license.
Need permission.
Yeah.
Got my permission.
So yeah, it was. So with us too, when we're doing it, we know what we're doing because we've been doing it a few times. We've already done it 5 times before John came along, and he was very keen to talk. He sometimes was just coming up with things and going off and explain more things without being asked. We asked him a few times different questions about stuff, and he's a natural talker. He gave a speech at our wedding. How long did his speech go for?
My dad, I said just speak for 2 minutes because that's everyone's attention span, right? Dad went on for 20.
Yeah, he would have kept going too.
20 minutes. Yeah. And I just let him get it out.
At one point he was even talking about pigeons. We used to have pigeons that used to land on our window at Bondi and would feed them bird seed out the window. And he started talking about the pigeons at one point, maybe the snails we had.
We sounded like, a bit strange.
Yeah, it was very sweet. It was endearing.
Now you sound strange on a podcast.
What's wrong with pigeons and snails?
We used to feed them from the window. Yeah. Little Percy, we would feed her.
Nene and Percy.
Yeah, we took one to the vet once because they had rope.
Yeah, it had wire torn around its legs, so it couldn't work. Every time I tried to walk, it would trip over. Yeah. And then, it wasn't the only food it was eating was the food we were putting it right there. It couldn't compete for the other food on the street. We'd see it on the street. Yeah.
So, pigeon emergency.
I tried to catch this pigeon and it was so difficult. I was like, if I get a box and I go up there and have a little stick, I'm like, maybe it'll just
Did he bring the pigeon inside?
What happened was it actually came in once and I tried to pull the window down to get it and it got out the window. And then I did it again. I caught it the second time, and I took it in. And they were like, "We're just going to put the pigeon down." And I'm like, "What do you mean put the pigeon down?" And they said, "Well, it's got wire around. It's a pigeon." And I'm like, "But the pigeon's fine. It's just got wire around its foot. Just take off the wire." And I had to argue a bit with them, but they did it for me.
You sound like Steve Irwin with crocodiles, but it's Michael Henry with pigeons.
Yeah, well then I took, which pigeon was that?
That's funny, Mike.
Yeah, so I took that pigeon home and then in the box and I opened the window and I was like, be free! I just let it flap away. It actually kind of dove at first and I was like, oh no, because there's probably a bit of shock going from dark to light. And it hasn't been it's been operated on a little bit. But yeah, no, it took off and then, it was good. And I saw it a few more times and then we never saw that pigeon again.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was our pigeon rescue story.
Captivating story.
John didn't tell that story, he just spoke about the pigeons. But yeah, we've got 1,000 pigeons. There are more pigeon stories. The Polite Pigeon Podcast. Change the name. Yeah.
That's super niche, right?
Yeah.
Super niche.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't have that many pigeon stories, I think. There's one every week. Yeah. That was a while ago now. How long ago was that?
It frightens me, the idea of time. I was saying that to my friend this morning. It was how long ago?
At least 5 years ago or 6, yeah.
It's crazy.
Does
anyone else feel that? Time is, I don't know, I suppose as time goes on, I'm 33 and next, I'll be in my 40s and it feels like you'll never get older. That we all will.
40s? I didn't sign up for that.
It's creepy. I don't want to be 40. No offense
you were
to all the 40s out there.
You were 24 when you went for 40.
I was a little fresh 24-year-old. I know. Fresh.
You're still fresh.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, I think time is strange as you get older, especially... Yeah, I guess we all had a few years. It was a bit like in, the Marvels movies where, half the world disappeared in the Avengers movies. During COVID, everything just kind of got stopped for a bit.
Okay.
It's a weird reference. But
keep going.
Yeah. So anyway, well, in the Avengers movie, Thanos got all the rings, all the stones, and then he got rid of half the population of the entire universe. So everyone was just stuck in limbo for 4 or 5 years. Well, half the people were just deleted from the face of the universe.
Okay.
So yeah, during COVID, it just felt like everyone's lives just got just pause. Did we kind of lose a few years? You know, like what happened there?
Did we lose years or did it accelerate? It almost felt like it didn't occur in a weird way because life, was so bizarre.
We learned things. I think everyone learned stuff about themselves and about their partners, what you know, when you're stuck inside.
Michael came across the quote yesterday. It was literally, you know how there are quotes and just some random person's come up with it and they've made it a quote. And the quote was, how you were during COVID is how you are.
Is who you are.
Is who you are. How you are during COVID is who you are. Sorry, I think that's just so funny.
It's funny, yeah. But I kind of get what it meant because some people got, you know, real different. Some people freaked out entirely. Some people didn't care at all.
Paranoia.
Yeah, you know. Yeah. And then cautious, and some people, you know, were really angry at other people. And I think it really highlights, I don't know if it actually highlights who you are, but it does to some degree maybe.
It kind of highlights how well do you cope with change, with your sense of fear that arises. I think it shone a light on what coping strategies do you have when life isn't a smooth sailing, which is generally all the time. Life's a bit bumpy. Every day has challenges. You can't necessarily be like, my day today is going to look like this. It just won't. Sorry. I feel as though, I think that was the greatest thing. So if you had little things in your toolkit, like I've got a really strong yoga practice that will keep me afloat. I'm really interested in creative arts and I'm going to use that to keep me entertained. But if you don't have those things and you're attached to the television, to your phone and just looking at articles, I think those people found it very challenging, and I understand completely how people felt that way as well.
If that's all you have.
Absolutely. It was as though the media was creating a storm, and if you are part of that world of absorbing content from those sources, particularly the big media outlets, Channel 7, Channel 9, like etc. I think those people got really swept away with it.
Yeah, that's all you have is watching the TV and looking at your phone. If you don't have any other hobbies or skills and things around the house, like obviously people say I've got hobbies that are outdoors, like I love playing netball, you know, and you can't go play netball anymore.
Damn.
You know, that's a problem. Like besides netball, I only got the phone, you know, or the TV.
Yeah, and then right.
So if you sew, you do jigsaw puzzles, you got, you know, a good view, you can play I Spy.
No, it was challenging.
And some people had like people who have little children during that who want to go outside and play at playgrounds and they can't do it. I wonder what that was like. We didn't have a baby during COVID.
I just would have gone for walks. You're allowed to exercise, which was a saving grace.
There's something about anyone with a toddler or a baby once they're walking, you know how much they love the playground. The playground is it.
Oh, no playground.
That's what I'm saying. There was probably, I don't know, we weren't focusing on it, parents, but there probably was no playground. Imagine those toddlers who didn't get to go to the playground. Everyone take a moment. Those poor toddlers, you know. It's a real travesty.
How did they cope? How did the parents cope? Yeah,
you're probably going to have a generation of like people who grow up, you know, and they're like, we're that generation who didn't get the playground. And they just let you know about it.
Like 3 years of no playground. Yeah. Ouch. We thought we had it hard.
It's like they're adults still playing. Just like... There are some adults who get really into the playground, all right? I don't know if I'm the only person seeing this, but there are some...
I definitely go down the slide and I enjoy it.
Yeah, you're into it too, but you're holding Teddy when you're doing it.
Yeah.
You're holding him, but there are grown-ups who are running around. Like there's like little, you know, barely walking kids around, babies around. And these adults are just running past everyone and swinging things and just like, you know.
I think that's fun. What's wrong with that?
Once you have a little baby, you realize that they're very precious and that if your little baby gets bowled over or knocked over by some giant, giant individual who's about
like big child.
10 to 20 times their size, it's an issue, you know. Like there's definitely parks and other things you know adults can run around in. You don't need adults running around in playgrounds, you know. Yeah.
So we need our own playgrounds.
Definitely. I think there needs to be maybe age, maybe more specific areas of the playground. Like this is where the little ones are, and in that area there's no adults running or something like that.
You should tell the council.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm not, you know, and you'd hate to see a little baby get hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's wild out there.
Yeah. That's what I'm passionate about these days. Protecting babies. Yeah. Pro playground. But anyway, yes, we lost a few years. That's what happened, wasn't it? Yeah. Or we learned things about ourselves, and
time kind of slowed down and sped up at the same time.
I have a friend from my gym, and he told me that he began yoga during the COVID lockdown, and he's so flexible, this guy, and I can't believe he did it all just from watching on screens. Yeah, it's amazing. You know, there's people who go to classes for years and not that flexible, so there's some good comes out of it, you know. But I wonder how many people can see, you know, the good that came out of it. There's so much bad, obviously. So many people lost their jobs, their money, their relationships, loved ones. Should have went loved ones first, and then the material things and all that, you know. But, how you going?
I'm always, when I'm sitting here, I'm always thinking, how can we get into talking about relax and release?
Well,
that's what I think about when I sit here in silence.
We said on episode 1 that we would discuss relax and release, and now it's episode 7. We may as well touch on it. Go into it. Okay, so Michael Singer is an amazing individual. He is a yogi. He founded a business. He was around back in probably the 70s, and I'm not sure which decade, but he got one of the first computers from the store and started typing on it. And he developed programs, like medical programs, maybe accounting programs for businesses, and not just medical ones, other businesses. Yeah. And he became one of the biggest, you know, providers of software for medical companies.
Yeah, it's across the medical.
I'm not exactly sure what the program is, but that's what he did, and he did that for years, and he's really big, worth a lot.
As a result, he's a millionaire.
I'm not sure what
his billion's a lot.
I'm not sure what his worth is, but this is irrespective. This is what he did, but along the way.
I don't think it is irrespective. I think it's very interesting.
Well, it shows once we get to the end that money obviously isn't everything. If you become highly wealthy and successful, you think, oh, that's it. That's all.
At the moment, he's let go of his wealth from the perspective of having
he's done that.
No, but I'm saying from the perspective of having attachment to it.
Yeah, he
has no attachment to his wealth.
He never talks about it or anything.
No, and he doesn't live in a mansion. He lives on a big property.
He's built his own temple, and he does yoga classes there and talks. So I've read a lot of books, and I've read a lot of books about meditation and mindfulness and spirituality, and I've been to many yoga classes, and I've meditated heaps, and his teachings are by far the best thing I've ever come across, you know.
I will second that too.
Like Ram Dass is amazing, but
the best thing about Michael Singer's books, his podcasts, well, I suppose they're his channels that we reach him through. He's got some videos online as well. The best thing, the most valuable aspect of Michael Singer that sets him apart from everything is the fact that his advice is applicable and usable at any point, any moment during the day for any issue that may arise. And I think the fact that it can be applied so easily makes his approach I don't like to say the best. I think the notion of ranking different spiritual approaches, it's so personal what will connect with an individual. But I think his approach is so able to be connected with by everyone so easily. So we'll go into describing at a very basic level what it is and how we would apply it to help. It's basically a tool that assists with making life incredible. The idea of us being here on earth is for us to have our energy flowing freely and flowing like, I would compare it to kind of like rainbow energy, like sparkling, that really vibrant. Do you know what I mean?
When you're feeling good, you're in the flow state, and you're feeling really happy, whatever that euphoric feeling is when things are just going great and your life feels like you're on top and things are great.
There is the ability with the use of relax and release to operate within that state. Realistically, can it be all the time? I believe yes. I believe with really connecting to the practice, it can be something where even though life happens and really sad things do happen, unfortunately, in life, that's what makes life. Michael Singer would come from the perspective of saying it's the things that happen to us are the things that enrich our experience in life. In yoga, they talk about destruction leading to rebirth. And if you can relate to those challenging moments from a perspective that I will get through this is something I'm not used to experiencing. I'm okay. This will pass and I will grow. And it's from that mentality. But I want to just get back to the simplicity. Michael, go over simplistically what relax and release is.
Well, there's 3 options that he goes through. Is the first option that people do is positive thinking. So if something goes wrong, so let's say you're feeling good and then something goes wrong, so you get a flat tire or whatever. You can get really angry, get really annoyed. Oh, I don't have a spare tire, or I've got to change it, I don't know how to change it, and then the whole day is ruined. Someone can do positive thinking and go, okay, well, this does happen, and I'm not the only one this has happened to. You can try and like rationalize the problem that's occurred, and you can solve it through thinking and try and work it into a package that fits well for you to continue on the day, so you don't lose the plot when you get home and get completely angry. So second, besides that, positive thinking is one. Number 2 is a mantra. So a mantra is basically people walk around going om. They have a word or a phrase they say, and this one people probably don't want anything to do with, let's be real, but it does work. It's definitely something that people can do. But then third option is called relax and release. So all it is when something goes wrong or something triggers that upset feeling inside, so whether it's someone says something mean to you, or you lose something, or whatever it is, you see a car that reminds you of a car that something in the past, whatever.
A car reminds you?
Anything that reminds you of something, a bad time. Things like someone's name reminds you of someone that was mean to you when you were younger.
You go, oh, I could never date that person. They're called Peter, and Peter, when I was in primary school, he used to pull my
I can't be friends with Peter. I can't even know a Peter. Get out of here. So you could try and rationalize, like number 1, you could go, well, Peter, there's people named Peter. Maybe I'm not going to be his best friend. And then number 2, you could do your mantra in your head and be like, om. And if you do the mantra, you're kind of just not letting that in.
You're disconnecting.
Yeah. There's ways of solving it. And then the third way is it's called relax and release. So this is the best way of what to do from my perspective. So he just says
and Michael Singer's perspective.
Yeah. So he's just saying that you, as it sounds, relax and release. So one is relax the body. So you find that there's tension somewhere. Usually when you're upset or annoyed, there's tension. Your shoulders raise a little bit. We tense our glutes, our face. Like there's different.
The jaw's a good one to let go.
Yeah, the belly is a funny one. People tense the belly. There's all these different spots. For everyone it's different. It might be someone's arm. I'm not sure.
I would say that breathing is also really important in this process of relaxing the body. If you can take a moment to focus on nasal breathing, that will help calm the system down. Parasympathetic nervous system starts to take over.
Well, so you want to relax the part of the body, and then focus on the breathing. Yeah. So once you relax the shoulder or whatever it is, let's just say it's the shoulders for the in the exercise. So you're just like, so we know what tense is, like, you know what tense, and relax is letting it go, so letting it sort of drop to the floor, or your belly go out, or like if the glutes are tense.
Your glutes.
My right glute tenses. Some strange
Michael
reason, not the
always
left.
talks about his glutes tensing.
Anyway, so you let it go, and you can tell the thing. So, like, if you want to know, just tense it and then let it go, and that'll let you know if you're where you're at. So yeah, you let it go, and then if you can't feel what it is, just think of relaxing. Just think of dropping through the floor, that's relax. Because some people might say, I have no tension anywhere, and it's like
sometimes in a state of heightened anxiety. I was in a state of heightened anxiety over the past couple of days, twice. And in those states, it feels like I can't relax. You're so swept up in the emotion, in that feeling of feeling lost, in the feeling of feeling like you're trapped in the anxiety. And it's literally just about, Michael would say to me, relax. You've got to just relax your feet, relax your toes, relax your ankle. And then it's just keep relaxing. And if you think you're relaxing, you're still feeling horrible and panicked, keep relaxing, relax.
Keep relaxing and breathing. Focus on the breathing. Don't be looking at a phone while you're doing this or anything else. Just this is the activity. So the idea behind it all is that if something is upsetting you or making you angry or whatever it is, if you can then somehow remember to do this, right, and then relax the body and focus on the breathing, if you're actually relaxing and releasing, letting this problem go, right, I don't think it's possible to be relaxed and still angry at the thing that was making you angry or upset about whatever it is. You can't hold both those concepts together at the same time.
So that's the premise, really well explained by Michael, of relax and release.
Did I do okay?
You did really well.
I hope so.
Yeah. No, I think you brought the point across.
Yeah, and then so a little bit, I used to kind of like think about it as leaning away a little bit. Like you can kind of picture where the problem is in your mind. So usually I do it with my eyes closed. You can do it with your eyes open, whatever it is.
You know what I found when I was upset the past couple of days? I've just been overtired. And there's been some things going on as well that have triggered when I've been upset. And I found that in a state of anxiety, everything feels so tense. And I remember Michael guiding me through, which is ironic because I'm the yoga teacher, technically, but Michael's so good at supporting.
You taught me well.
Yeah. When the student becomes the master, and he would say, relax, relax. And I would listen to him, and it would lead me to crying. Like I would be in a state where the emotion I was most connecting with would be anger at myself, just feeling anxiety, and that experience of relax, that I remember it would make me cry. And I'm feeling emotional thinking about it, but it's interesting, that connection between anxiety and you think you feel a certain way, but once you settle and you allow yourself to relax and open, you can access the actual emotion that you're dealing with as well. And you can let it go. You don't have to be carrying it around and you're anxious and your heart's racing. There's probably impacts on your health, impacts on how you're coming across to people around you, and you're just existing in that state. However, with that relax, you might cry. However, it will allow it to release, and that is the essence of the practice. It's not saying that things won't happen. Life is dynamic and colorful, dramatic at times, not always. And it's this process that allows us to flow with it, not to grip on tight and close our fists. And it allows us to open our hands to receive life, to receive the gifts, to experience the turbulence at times and allow it to pass, instead of it getting caught up and we're carrying it around like it's attached to us and it keeps affecting everything.
Yeah.
And like you don't even realize, you just think, no, this is me. But in fact, yeah, with that idea of relax, 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 there's a big shift that can occur potentially. Whoa.
It does feel good when you do
Yeah.
it. It really it does work. I've tried it. It definitely works. The idea is just you don't want to spend your life upset or anxious or annoyed about things. And I think we've all met people who get older and they've got many problems and they're always complaining about things and nothing's okay, the weather, whatever it is. You can.
I just want to bring up Michael Singer always refers to the universe and our place in it. And I think that gives such great scope and perspective on issues that arise, and it creates a sense of importance to what we're going through, but also it gives us perspective to see that what we're going through is in fact completely insignificant. However, I acknowledge from our perspective and our conscious experience, nothing is completely, unimportant.
Yeah. There's definitely, it's called low and high hanging fruit. So the easiest things to start with are obviously low hanging fruit, and obviously that's a metaphor, but we'll explain. Low hanging fruit is fruit you can just grab yourself from the tree, so it's easy to get a hold of. So
it'd be like low hanging fruit, like a lemon, fruit.
Yeah. So what we're saying is, if there's a problem that comes up in your day, and it could just be like, oh, I left my keys inside, I've got to go back in. And like that seems real low hanging fruit. Like it could be. But annoying.
Some people could get really annoyed by it.
Yeah.
But it's still low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Right?
It's got to go back inside to get them. The door's open.
So you can pick that lemon.
Yeah. So that's
just grab
that's
it.
super low hanging. It's just got to go back inside and get my wallet or whatever it is from indoors. High hanging fruit is a lot higher. So that could just be
like a coconut. You'd have to go and get a ladder.
You gotta hug the tree and get to the top. And
Is coconut a fruit? What about like a pineapple?
They're fruits. Well, coconut's a nut, isn't it? I suppose.
Yeah.
Feels like a fruit, but doesn't it?
Bananas? They're high, probably.
It's just a metaphor. But we get the picture. Like let's say it's a lemon tree, but all the low lemons are gone, but the high lemons are really high. Can't get to them, you have to get a ladder. Like that's difficult.
So it takes more practice, more experience with relax and release to climb that ladder, pick the coconut, the pineapple, the bananas, but it's with practicing that it will become easier to go and get the bananas. You'll have a system in place and you just climb the ladder, grab it, instead of when things arise and something really terrible happens and it's high-hanging fruit, you'll have the tools to deal with it when you have a practice like relax and release. And I think that in itself gives me confidence to tackle, even like doing this podcast. Sometimes I'm like, holy moly, like I just, like, can I do this right now? Like there's a fair bit going on, but I take the mentality of relax and release. We're literally a speck of sand, like the equivalent. We're rotating on a ball or like a sphere in the middle of nowhere, effectively, inside this massive universe. And I just relax. Does it really matter if things aren't perfect? If like my hair's not perfectly done? It's just, I'll show up and I'll be fine.
So what is perfection anyway? We're going to keep striving perfection and things always go wrong. That's what life is. You can't make every single thing go your way every single day. And so...
You can try.
Yeah, and you'll drive yourself crazy.
Yeah.
You're right. So let's say there's a river.
I feel like I try to do that.
Let's say there's a stream and the stream's flowing perfectly.
Yeah.
And then we've all got this rocks and junk in the stream.
Yeah.
So the idea is you can get rid of the little rocks.
And the rocks and junk are called some scars.
Yeah, well, some scars are like things that you've kept a hold of, problems. So, I have an issue with social anxiety. Let's say I was bullied when I was younger. That's something I've...
These are all true stories.
That's a rock I've got in the river. And so that rock, I've got that there still. So if I get into a situation where I start to go, oh, there's a lot of people here, everyone's sort of looking at me and talking to me, I might get a little tense and a little like overwhelmed. That's obviously more medium to high hanging fruit for me than low hanging fruit. But the thing is, with the stream analogy, the more of these rocks you can pull out, or the low hanging fruit you can get off the tree, you can get to the bigger rocks, the high hanging fruit.
You're going a little bit quickly for me through this. If people are hearing this for the first time, it's a bit confusing. There's
two different analogies.
Well, it's just this imagery of the stream and the rocks. So the rocks are experiences that we haven't just processed seamlessly. We've held on to them because they've had such a big impact on us, and we haven't known how to deal with it, so they get stuck there, and they're our rocks. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But you can use that too for also just little problems that are arising. I look at it like everything's kind of going in the river.
It's all going in if we don't just
But this river is your energy. It's what's keeping you going through the day. Your Shakti. When that river is full of junk and rocks, the water's not flowing properly. It's all like rising up. It's getting through cracks. It's going out this way, that way, losing the flow. So you got to think, if a being had no junk in that river, they'd just be walking around. I haven't held on to anything. I didn't hold on to that bad experience when I was younger, and those people picked on me, or I met Peter and he was mean.
Pulling pigtails.
Like it did happen, and you processed it, and you just relaxed and released.
Michael Singer compares it to the idea of when you're driving and there's white lines that are on the edge of the road. We're not thinking about it. Like, I'm not sitting here thinking about, oh my God, those white lines on the edge of the road. Like, it wasn't completely drawn. There was like part of the road that was like an older white line. Like, I'm not thinking about it because it kind of just happened and passed. I'm not thinking about it. And that is what Michael Singer is training us with relax and release to experience life like.
I love it. It's because you don't have to be any religion. It's not a cult. There's nothing strange about it. It's literally just he's a programmer, and he realized the mind works a little similar to
He's a programmer, but he spent a long time meditating in the woods. He had a terrible breakup, and that was how he processed it, and he had many realizations. He said, I don't want to live forever in the woods meditating on my own. That's not particularly life. I want to engage
nor was it working.
And it was not working.
Yeah. A lot of the things people are trying out there for mindfulness aren't working.
I'm going to yoga every day, but I'm still struggling with coping with my day. And I can say I was that person. Like that there are so many, and by saying that, I want to make a connection between relax and release and yoga. Relax and release is completely yoga. It just is such a simple way to apply yoga to your everyday, so you live in yoga, and that is the goal. That is the goal.
Yeah, so I'll try and link some stuff from Michael Singer. It is actually linked. Michael Singer, it's in more shows that we recommend, so it is actually there. But I can try and link the first episode.
I feel like this is like such a good introduction to relax and release, and we can explore it more.
There's a lot more in it. He's done many books and many talks, so
so you'll put all the links up.
It's already linked, but I can add the first episode just on this episode, so we can link that.
His best book is which one?
Well, they got Living Untethered. So The Untethered Soul is the first book, but I'd say Living Untethered's the best one. But yeah, check the books out. But the podcast is obviously free. You can get started straight away. I'd say the podcast is probably better. It's newer, so I'd say...
We listen to 10 minutes. We do it before we go to sleep at night. We listen... I'm often so tired. Recently, I've just been going to sleep. But we listen to 10 minutes every day of the podcast series. And it's been so perfect.
Just 10 minutes.
Just a snack. I love my snack analogies.
Yeah.
Like little blueberry snacks.
Sometimes he does talk about different religions, but you don't have to be religious to do it. But you can be, and that's what's great about it. It's not about religion, it's literally about relaxing the body. And I suppose when you say words like samskara, that starts to trigger people, get a bit, that's a bit too spiritual for me, but...
It's a yoga tradition.
Yeah, it's your loss if you want to do it, you know what I mean? I think it's worth a shot, and if it works for you, fantastic. I'm glad we got to share it, and Sophie said earlier, certain things work for other people. Some people might go, well, the mantra works for me. I love doing the mantra, that's perfect. I don't have to relax all the time. I just want to say a word and keep going. And some people want to do positive thinking.
It could be a word or a sound.
Yeah, positive thinking is still going to be, if you're an effective positive thinker, you can get far.
I don't agree. I disagree. I think when we attach to our mind, then attaching to the mind leads us down rabbit holes where it's exhausting. I think by being able to see the mind as a separate entity to who we are, we're not our thoughts. Our thoughts can try to help us, but our thoughts are being driven often by a sense of panic almost, right? Like trying to protect us. And
you got the unconscious mind, subconscious mind, they're all light. They can trick you into thinking things.
We ultimately want to be connecting back to source. Source is the seat of center, the place behind our thoughts. And this is what Relax and Release helps us do every day.
Positive thinking is a bit like if you smashed a mirror and you're trying to like put it back together or something. You're just sort of like trying to fix a wall, patch it in.
Whereas Relax and Release is like flowing, allowing that mirror to be broken. And if you want to fix it, you fix it. But it's not about reacting to what's happened. It's about relaxing the body. It's about participating in life. But it's not, you're not having that section.
Well, it's letting go of the broken mirror. It's just like the mirror breaks, goodbye.
But
like,
it's perfectly fine as well with Relax and Release to fix things from a perspective of allowing it to occur naturally.
When you feel
not forced.
when you feel good and you're not stressed from a situation or angry or upset, you know the right thing to do. You will fix the problem, whatever the problem is, but you won't be angry or going mental while it's happening. You won't be, depressed for days to come.
You have a perspective where you're observing your thoughts, you're observing how you feel, observing the moment, and responding in an appropriate and balanced way.
Yeah. Well, everyone knows what it is like to feel. At some point, most people felt good, I have to say. Everyone's probably felt good. That's what the aim is, and he said, Michael Sophie knows people who feel that way all the time, people who've just been doing it for years, and it'd be great to, get to that point,
I know with probably people think, oh my God, you guys, why are you doing a podcast? Like, what can you share with everyone? Or like, why would we listen to you? And I come back to, I think this is probably part of why I think I love the fact that we connect with people, a community through this podcast, because I really do want to, my goal for being here on this earth, I just love connection, and what we've found is so powerful. Once again, it sounds a bit like a cult, but it always does, because they're so devoted to it. It just really works. Now it sounds like a sponsorship. But I hope everyone can try it. Let's give our listeners and viewers a bit of a homework task. And I just would love everyone to get used to, at certain points in the day, if you're feeling stressed, I'd love you to begin relaxing. Say, relax, relax, relax. You can close your eyes, you can keep them open, whatever. Focus on any part of the body, maybe a finger. Relax, relax, relax. And if you can do that once in the day where you're feeling a bit affected by what's happening in front of you, that will be a great start.
I think just being aware if you do tense, because I didn't even realize I tense certain parts of the body until I started doing yoga. You go into a Sphinx pose.
Sphinx?
Yeah, I found it.
Sphinx.
Yeah, so that pose, and it's
like an Egyptian.
It looks like what it sounds like. And in that pose, I think a teacher would come around and say, okay, everyone relax their glutes. And I go, what do you mean relax my glutes? I'm not doing it for my glutes. I'm just laying here on the ground. And then I'd like realize, I was like, oh my God, I'm actually tensing my glutes right now.
So with this homework, you can observe from relaxing in that moment of tension. Observe what happens when you relax. Can you find a little bit more space from the moment in front of you, which is stressful? Can you find more space to cope with it? Just observe, let us know.
No homework, everyone. She said homework.
You want homework?
There's no homework, but yeah, if you want to do it.
What about like a little, can we call it something fun? Like, let's do like a challenge.
No, there's no challenges. There's no homework.
But I invite you to try it.
Yeah, okay.
I do.
Invitation.
There's an invitation on offer right now.
Invitation. Invitation for homework, everyone. Run. Bye.
My teacher's a parent. Sorry, my parents are teachers. Oh my gosh. But no, I'm so interested to see how people can possibly use it. It will take a bit of time to get used to. You've got to remember to even do it.
Yeah, look, if I can remember to do it even 4 times a day, that's like I feel great.
So good.
So good. I have the best day.
And then you start to realize things that we're getting stressed about, they're quite silly.
I wish I had some sort of like a wearable thing that could tell like how many times I've done it, and it could, and there's days I realized I didn't do it at all, and I had a pretty stressful day.
Yeah. So,
I think accumulatively, maybe you need like a tattoo or something. But anyway, try it out. Hopefully it helps. If it helps one person, I'm glad we talked about it for half an hour.
So think about relaxing the body.
If it doesn't, it is what it is. But it definitely, other people have like been helped as well with it. And it's free too. That's the other thing. It doesn't cost anything. So
doesn't cost anything. And you can just get the podcast. It's free.
Yeah, you're already doing life's already happening anyway, so you may as well relax while you're doing it.
You might be able to have experiences where you go, oh, instead of this being a stressful experience, this is in fact quite funny. Oh, we're living with people who are quite grumpy.
Well,
that's funny. Instead of being like, oh my god, they're so grumpy. It's
comical how many things actually stress you out. Once you realize that what's happening, you go, oh my god, I was tensing about that. That is so silly. What a silly thing to be a little bit anxious about. I can't believe I've been doing that for years. And then, you let it go, and then suddenly, life just becomes a little
it's bizarre
brighter.
The things that we worry about. Like, I'm thinking about girls and relationships with our friends, and sometimes we can get so caught up in things and we can get really focused. It's like the things that affect us the most, we draw closer to us. Instead of like pushing them far away and releasing them, we in fact attract them closer to us in our mind. We keep going over it. And it's like people, we might not even see these people at all, might see them once a year. But if something's happened with that person, they're with you like way more.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's a samskara. I've got one. I might talk about it later. Yeah,
everyone's got them. Everyone's got bad experiences. And that's the other thing too. I'll just say it quickly. There's also the flip side. There's also really, really great experiences. If you have a really great moment, we're like, oh my god, this is the best moment.
Like the birth of Teddy.
Yeah.
Being married to Michael.
Yeah, people can get very carried away with a great experience too. And it's also advised to relax and release sometimes through really great experiences, because you can suddenly get attached from like, well, now I want that ice cream again, that special ice cream I got from that store in Hobart.
And I want to recreate the experience, and then you recreate it and it's not the same, and then you get upset.
Yeah, and look, this one's like, it's less often you're having great experiences. So you don't have to think about it. But people get carried away sometimes with, I need it to be exactly the way it was that time. So you just got to go, sometimes the universe just lines up and the sunset is perfect, But if you start...
It's about observing the sunset at the end of the day. It's like getting your system into a state where you connect with those special moments. How often have you driven or walked and the sunset's been happening or the sunrise, but you don't completely enjoy it, And I think it's about getting us to that space where life is open for us to enjoy, instead of being stuck inside our head thinking about craziness at the end of the day.
That was well said.
Yeah.
I think we'll end on that note. That was perfect.
Yeah, sunsets and sunrises are so special, right?
Yeah, sunrises and sunsets. Let's end on that. That was really good. As always, thank you so much for coming in. My number one guest.
Thanks.
You were my only guest. Your dad
I'm very consistent, I must say. I was even there when there was a second guest.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, I guess the big test will be when there's just me and someone random. I miss you. I want you here. I have to get you on a chair.
I'll be nearby.
Yeah. See you straight after.
Listening in behind the wall.
Yeah, I'm very appreciative of you doing this with me all the time.
Aww,
it's so much fun. I really enjoyed it, and I hope
everyone, we appreciate Michael the most.
I appreciate you all too.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for listening. Yeah.
Michael's created this whole little world for us to, connect through.
Yeah, it shows you the little guys can do a podcast too, Not just all the big characters out there. The people who live in cupboards.
Harry Potter, don't you worry.
Yeah, straight from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Okay, so thanks everyone. Okay, thank you, Sophie. All
right, we're gonna see everyone next week.
Yeah.
Love you heaps. Relax and release. Good luck.
Yeah. Good luck out there, everyone. Let's go.
Let's effing go.
All right. Bye for now.
We love you. Bye.